Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger. My friends, we got a lot of Street Fighter 6 news for you today. Not the least of which, I guess we'll just start out with one of the big announcements. We have a playable demo for Street Fighter 6, and that is live right now. Well, for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 anyways. Everyone else, because yes, everyone else will get it next week. Not quite an open beta, but still, a demo playable for everyone, that is pretty good. Open beta, I guess the cracked PC beta kind of scared them off it. Is what it is, I guess. But besides the demo, which is already huge, we got a lot more for you here, and a lot of secrets have been unveiled. One of them is the first year of DLC for Street Fighter 6. We now know the first 4 characters that will be playable as DLC, and maybe not the greatest unveil, as we sort of knew for a while, but Rashid, Aki, Ed, and Akuma will be your year 1 DLC of Street Fighter 6. Rashid will be first in the summer, then Aki in the autumn, Ed in the winter, and Akuma rounding out the cast around this time next year. As far as the cast goes, Rashid, well, he's Rashid, Ed is Ed, Aki effectively is seemingly a female stand-in for Fang from Street Fighter 5, and given what we knew beforehand, Akuma actually looks a little bit different. In the original Street Fighter 6 leak, we saw all these characters and we saw their basic looks, and, well, they still mostly look the same, except for Akuma. He still maintains the barbarian-esque look, but before he had the red hair with, a little streaks of gray, and now he's gone all white. A lot of the classic characters in Street Fighter 6 are getting a little bit older, yes, although perhaps age has hit Akuma just a little bit harder than everyone else. He certainly doesn't live a very healthy lifestyle, being empowered by rage and all that, right? But in the end, this is your Street Fighter 6 Year 1 DLC cast. And hopefully for Year 2 and beyond, because there will definitely be a beyond, there'll be a lot of DLC characters, we'll get more than just 4 a year. Now, here's another big bit of very fun news that'll make a lot of people very happy. So we all know you can create your character to go into World Tour mode, or move around in the lobbies, and yes, it is now confirmed you can use your created characters to mess around in the lobbies. So all your crazy custom moves, all that kind of stuff, your weird looks, everything you want to bring to the table, you are allowed to fight other human players with them. You can't exactly take them into ranked play or something like that, which, fair enough. If you've played enough Soul Calibur in your life, you definitely know you don't want weird hitbox characters in your ranked mode experience. But still, if you want to mess around, have fun with your custom characters, Street Fighter 6 has your back. Go crazy. And on that note, let's talk about World Tour itself, considering we're talking about the custom characters. So we have a proper look at World Tour mode now, and we get to see some new locales, more than just Metro City. And it really seems like the World Tour mode is quite a bit more expansive than we ever first imagined. Like, for example, you can use items, and there's quite a bit of items in the game. So if you're in the middle of a fight and getting beat up, you can drink your energy drink and regain your health. And all sorts of crazy battles here, like a fridge and a drone. They're certainly letting you battle against very inventive opponents, let's put it that way. The open world RPG aspect is a lot more open world RPG than you might have imagined. Your clothes have stats. There's all sorts of things within the game world itself to interact with and ways to interact with them. And not the least of which is, it becomes extra clear in this footage that this game, the open world game of the World Tour mode, is sort of like Yakuza. There's just like thugs in the street waiting for you while you're just doing your thing. They'll chase you around. And don't worry, you get to interact with them. One thing that's unique to World Tour mode is there's a little bit of a time slow effect before you fight the enemy. And you can use that time to, say, sumo headbutt your enemy and knock them around, deal some damage before the actual fight starts. So almost like, say, Persona, if you can hit the enemy before the fight starts, you'll have the advantage, right? Much the same here. Lots of numbers, lots of stats, all that kind of stuff. Very RPG for sure. And one of those things where it's definitely tricking you into learning the game, which is the best thing about this, right? For players that are newer to Street Fighter, is opportunities where, say, the opponent glows white. You will get basically a big bonus. This is trying to teach you basically counter hit / punish counter timing. Knock them out of their move, either before it begins or after they're done, and you'll get a big reward. It's teaching you the basic fundamentals of the game that way, and that's fantastic. The best kind of learning is the kind of learning where you don't even know you're actually learning the basics of the game. And going back to the Yakuza comparison, there's all sorts of food vendors, all sorts of food types, all sorts of items for you to buy. Items that give you temporary buffs, just basically everything short of like a Don Quixote around the corner for all your Yakuza needs. And they've showcased it before, but just another look at the master system where you pick a master and, well, you learn all your moves from them. And yes, you can mix and match. So we have the ability to have a teleport with a spinning pile driver and any madness you can dream up. It'll all work. Even straight up leveling up trees and talents and all that kind of stuff depending on who your master is. And it has been shown before, but you are able to call in your master in a fight and have them help you out. All in all, World Tour mode seems pretty wild. And once again, the demo out right now. You can go try it out for yourself. And to close out on the World Tour stuff, one of the things we got to see, which was told to us, but seeing is believing, right? Is the World Tour aspect of World Tour mode, traveling all around the world. Sure enough, go to your phone, go to World Map, and there's a bunch of options to choose from. So some of them, Metro City, we already know. Neishao is another major hub, like Metro City is, and we can see here stuff like Coliseo, King Street, Ranger's Hut, Bather's Beach, and more, because there's a little bit of a down arrow pointing there. So for people who are worrying that Metro City was the only real thing in World Tour mode, hey, don't worry, because there's a lot to work with. And you get a nice little USA plane travel to Italy, right? So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of stuff. Now some of these, like the Italy stage, I wonder if it's just sort of like one enclosed area. It's not going to be as expansive as Metro City or Neishao is, but still, there's a lot of places to go too. And by the way, the Carlos mystery gets solved, although it adds another layer of questioning, because yes, this is indeed Carlos. And yes, he's busting out completely unique moves that no other character has. So maybe future DLC, keep Carlos in mind. Then again, maybe that's just a World Tour thing. We have more highly detailed models too for World Tour. Like this gentleman here. This is Rudra. And he has a much more detailed model than a lot of other characters. Probably a side villain in the World Tour mode. Okay, so we already went through a lot of stuff here. And guess what? There's still a lot more to go through. Not the least of which is this little section right here. So we all knew we could play the classic games, right? But turns out we could play maybe more than what we thought. Like blink and you'll miss it here, but if we look, the one sort of pinkish logo here, I do believe that is Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. So the classic games are going to be a lot more than just Street Fighter 2 Final Fight and Magic Sword. And going past that, we can see here on the sides, we can see Street Fighter Alpha 2 and Captain Commando. So when you purchase Street Fighter 6, you're also buying basically a classic games collection, a pretty in-depth one, and who knows what other games will be on offer as well. Pretty nifty, I like it. Besides that, in Battle Hub, they once again show that you can play versus with your custom characters with all your crazy movesets, so that's really cool. And it looks like the background is populated with the people who are currently in the Battle Hub at the moment. So lots of crazy people for sure. Make sure you have your freak on standby so they can invade someone else's game mode. Now this is such a big deal. Clubs. Clubs is basically a fancy name for clans. So Street Fighter V, we had the whole dojo system, and this is that expanded to a great degree. So if you're looking to create your own clan, the option is there for you, and quite a few other options as far as like designing your clan logo options. And you can also put your clan logo or anything you design on your items as well to rep your clan. Like this is actually amazing. So say I myself want to make my giant gorillas as a clan, we can create our own logo, wear the shirts. I can create cool little things like a magazine cover or something. I'm gonna grab ya. The level of customization here is actually truly fantastic. So if you want to make something close-knit with friends or something bigger, because apparently it does support up to 100 people per clan, this is fantastic. It is just great. And the hits don't stop coming, and very literally in this case. And by the way, here's some classic outfits for you, by the way. Battle Damage. Remember Battle Damage? We saw it like over a year ago at this point and then just sort of went away. Don't worry, it's actually back. So it's a toggle now. So you can choose whether or not you want battle damage to happen over the course of a match. So small tears in the costumes and outfits, and people get their faces all bloodied and bruised up. If you want it, it is there for you. So say as Ryu wins this match, we get a little bit of a close-up. He looks a little jacked up, got a little bit of a black eye, a little bit of a cut on his cheek going on here. Much the same here at the end of this. Beat up, Guile beat up. So if you want your characters beat up, the option's there. On top of this, more great options here, like the sound system that tells you how close you are to the enemy or how far you're away from the enemy, what kind of hits you land, cross-ups, all that kind of stuff.
The height level of attacks.
So if you're any kind of visually impaired, that'll be fantastic. Things tutorials, we got them. All sorts of tutorials going over every aspect of the game. And now, granted, this is the bare minimum, but if you're a fighting game player, you know sometimes we don't even get the bare minimum, right? So don't worry, the bare minimum is here. Like say, arcade mode, don't worry, it's here day one. And we get some little story snippets here. Yun and Yang, are they ghosts? Is he remembering the memory? Are they gone? I just don't want them in the game anymore, to be honest with you. I don't like Yun and Yang, right? But Jamie reminisces on Yun and Yang, right? So we get some story out of the character. We have a proper arcade mode to travel around. We'll get an ending, get some illustrations, all that kind of stuff. So the thing that took Street Fighter V years to input will be there on day one. And when it comes to single player arcade mode stuff, they're not afraid to get silly with it. Because here's Cammy versus a freaking literal truck. And I'm telling you right now, I want the truck as DLC. Straight up. We have parry challenges. Once again, bonus illustrations, depending on how, when, where you beat the game, that kind of stuff. Like, there is proper single-player content just even outside the World Tour mode, which is also fantastic. And heck, added bonus here. Look at Minno's critical art. We get to finally see what it looks like. That's cool. Full-on guides for every single character, explaining the hows and whys of the move. So a much more expansive version of what we had, say, in Street Fighter V. Once again, very, very welcome. Combo trials, and a lot of them. We have them even broken into tiers. Beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Not just 1 to 10, we're done, we're out of here. There's multiple layers of combo guides to teach you how the characters actually work. And when it comes to modes, more than just the stuff we already know about, which is already quite a bit, we have, say, stuff like Team Battle. And we can have team battles in a bunch of different formats, however you want to go. There's just so many actual options in the game. Keeping with the options, the gimmick modes. Gimmicks are fun, right? So we have a lot more than just, say, the bull. We knew about the bull from the beta, we've seen the bull already, but there's just a lot more to actually work with here. Playing around with the bull is fine, sure, but how about like randomized challenges? Like you have to take no damage, knock down the opponent, land jumping hits, or parry, or land so many throws in a certain amount of time. These are the kind of things that really spicing up. This is almost like Mortal Kombat level, right? And Mortal Kombat's very popular with the casuals, and for good reason, because they have stuff like this for people to play around with. This here is the good stuff. Here's what I'm very excited for. So creating rooms is much more than just a basic lobby here. You can actually have multiple peoples in your room and multiple battles happening at the same time, and completely different kinds of battles. One person could be playing a regular one-on-one game, and then the next person could be playing, you know, extreme battle with the bull, and the next person could be playing like whatever. Like a lot of things can be happening in a 16-player lobby. This actually reminds me of the very excellent King of Fighters 14 lobby, but just with even more options. Not the least of which is one of the things you can do in your little sub rooms in your lobby is online training mode. Myself, I demand online training. It's very important for me to teach people how to play, and games that don't have online training mode, it's incredibly frustrating. So online training mode is a go. You can have whatever sub, matches you want in the greater lobby. That's fantastic. This is all just a big win after a big win after a big win after a big win. So long story short, I think Street Fighter 6 is going to be pretty good, y'all. I think the game's going to be just all right in the end. They are doing so much right, and the game is absolutely jam-packed with content. This is going to be the game that's going to carry the FGC forward for many, many years to come. They're firing on all cylinders, and looks like they're doing it right. So honestly, I can't say too much more at this point other than I'm really, really looking forward to it. Looks like it's going to be one hell of a game. And other than all that, I guess we're at the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Street Fighter.